everybody, welcome back to my mental health journal. If you have not come across my videos as yet, my name is Thandile Dlamini and I am a black beautiful woman who's living with mental illness. In my previous videos, I gave informative facts about various mental illnesses. We discussed anxiety disorders, and in my previous video, we were discussing personality disorders. So I know I haven't been on for a while. I just had to just go back to the drawing board and kind of just restructure the way the episodes are delivered. So I've decided to make the episodes more personal and more engaging, with hopefully you guys on the comments section sharing your experiences should you find yourself relating to anything that I discuss. With that being said, the episodes are definitely going to be longer because we'll be engaging and more personal. So the long versions of the episodes will be loaded on my YouTube channel, kindest regards ZA, and the shortened versions of the episodes will be across all my social media platforms. So yeah, I hope you do stick around to eventually go onto YouTube to listen to the full videos. I'm just shedding light on mental illnesses. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm just someone living with mental illness and who wants to shed light on it. Let's get into it. Let's do a recap. In my previous episodes, I discussed anxiety disorders and the various types of anxiety disorders. In my previous video, like I said earlier, I described cluster A of personality disorders. So I'll just do a recap of cluster A personality disorders. They are schizoid personality disorders, schizotypal personality disorder, and lastly, it was paranoia personality disorder. That is under cluster A of personality disorder. Today, I'm going to get into cluster B. Cluster B of personality disorder includes antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and this one that I struggle to say, but I'm going to give it my best shot, histrionic personality disorder. What is antisocial personality disorder? Antisocial personality disorder is when a person has a long-term pattern of manipulating, exploiting, and violating the rights of other people. Histrionic personality disorder is when a person has very strong emotions, quite often, lack of a better word, very dramatic, has very strong opinions, and rarely has facts or details to back them up. This person seeks a lot of attention from other people. This person has very shallow opinions or emotions, and they change quite often. Narcissistic personality disorder. This one I know a lot of us have experienced by being in a relationship or having a family member or friendship with a narcissistic person who doesn't even know they have narcissistic personality disorder. What is narcissistic personality disorder? Narcissistic personality disorder is when someone loves to be admired. It is when someone wants to be praised. They think they're better than other people. They're often jealous of others, or they think other people are jealous of them. Narcissistic personality disorder includes someone who lacks empathy for others, who doesn't feel or see needs of other people. And lastly, narcissistic personality disorder, the person often takes advantage of other people. And lastly, under cluster B of personality disorder, we have borderline personality disorder. And this is where I fall under. This is one of my two mental illnesses that I suffer from, borderline personality disorder. What is borderline personality disorder? So I'll define it as with the facts and how what the researchers that I found say, and I will define borderline personality disorder in my own terms and in how I've experienced what borderline personality disorder is. And personality disorder, factually, they say that we struggle with how we handle our emotions. We can be very impulsive, and that impulsiveness can just cause us to be uncertain in the way we see ourselves. And it also causes quite a bit of trouble in relationships that we have, whatever kind of relationships we have. Those are the facts, and that's what research says on borderline personality disorder. How I define borderline personality disorder is, borderline personality disorder, because it's not chemical, like it's not something you can treat with medicine. It's something we literally have to consistently be aware of and work on how we manage our emotions first and foremost. So like I always tell people when I discuss my mental illness, the borderline personality illness is like a pinch for me is not a pinch, it's like a sting. Like I feel things stronger and harder and with more intensity than, I don't want to say a normal person would, but yeah, that's how my emotions feel, whether good or bad, but it comes with intensity. I struggle rather, because I'm much better now. I struggle with gray areas. Like for me, most of my life until I was diagnosed and started treating my BPD, I struggled to see the gray area. Like things were just black or white and there would be no in between. So for me, in my simple terms, borderline personality is very extreme emotions. A pinch is a sting, there's no gray area. And there's a certain unliking of the self. It's like we don't like ourselves. Like we don't see ourselves like how we see other people. An example, just struggling with believing and knowing that you're beautiful, you're capable, you're smart. With BPD, like I genuinely struggle. Like I genuinely struggle to believe in those things, whether good or bad. Like especially good, I struggle to believe in good. For example, if struggle to believe that I'm beautiful or intelligent or smart. BPD is it's not nice because I'm also very mean to myself. Like most of the things I say to myself, I would never ever say to another human being because I know it would hurt and destroy someone. But it's so easy for me to look at myself with such uncertainty and be so mean, so be so critical and be so ugly to myself. There's no grace. BPD, I struggle with having grace with myself, forgiving myself. It's just criticism. There's nothing, like I'm not gentle. I don't know how to be gentle with myself. I'm being taught how to be gentle with myself. I'm being taught to see myself in a good light. Another way, and one of the other struggles I struggle with borderline personality disorder, fear of abandonment. That one is a tough one. Rejection, fear of abandonment. It really just like tips me over and just puts me in a dark space where so I latch on to certain things, to certain people, especially certain people that I should not be attaching and latching to. For some reason, I have this unstable attachment to the wrong relationships, so yeah. And lastly, for me, borderline personality disorder, I struggle with with feelings and intense emotions of wanting to unalive myself. Like with borderline personality disorder, it's always easier to just hurt yourself. I'll give a practical example. I grew up cutting myself from high school. Yeah, only far and few know about this. Yeah, I cut myself for a very long time throughout high school. I think I only stopped cutting myself maybe 2018, just to show you how, because I'm old, how long. And I wasn't diagnosed then. I didn't know that what I was doing was wrong. I would hide it, but to me it was normal. Like, it was a normal way to release whatever pain or trauma or grief or whatever is happening. Cutting myself was always something I resorted to that eased the emotional pain. So when I felt the physical pain, it eased my emotional pain. So cutting myself. And as I grew, the thoughts of unaliving myself also became quite intense, because it just felt like the cutting was enough. Just with BPD, you always just feel like it's like an easier way out than doing this life thing. I've suffered with suicidal thoughts. I'm not sure, because certain platforms don't want you to say certain words, so that's why I'm saying unaliving myself. I'm not using the word suicide. I've battled with thoughts of suicide and thoughts of unaliving myself for a very long time. It's gotten better now that I've been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Which is one, by the way, I think I've said it, which is one of the mental illnesses that I struggle from. I will disclose the next one when I get to it. So I battle with those emotions of wanting to unalive myself quite often. It's gotten better since I have been treating my mental illnesses. Those people, I said, never cry while recording myself, so I'm really trying not to do that. But I battle with those emotions of wanting to unalive myself. It's always seemingly a better option for me, and to kind of deal with things that have happened. And obviously the intensity of the emotions and the feelings depend also on what's happening. If there's a trauma I've suffered or grief that I'm going through, the feelings intensify. So like I've said, they've gotten better with my, since I've been diagnosed and treating it. And I'll discuss in the next segment what the treatments are for most of cluster B personality disorders. But it's unaliving myself. Have I struggled with those thoughts recently? For sure I have, but they have not been as intense to the point of planning on how and when. I've been through those thought processes quite a few times, prepared, got what I needed to get to do it. It's gotten that far. I don't know, but somehow I'm a coward to do it. So I haven't, and I'm still here. And I'm happy I'm still here. Yeah. Guys, if you ever feel like this or feel like me, please, like, there's help. The Sadek, go to your casualty at your nearest public hospital. There's help, and there's help that is there for free. I will put in information in my comments section on where to get help if you do feel these feelings or struggle with these feelings. Yeah. Those are cluster B personality disorders: antisocial, histrionic, narcissistic, and borderline personality disorder. The common features of cluster B personality disorders is that we have difficulties regulating our emotions, very erratic and have unpredictable behaviors. We also have like difficult interpersonal difficulties, and for lack of a better word, dramatic and very emotional too. Those are some of the common features of cluster B personality disorders. The ways to treat personality disorders under cluster B. It's rarely medicine. My own psychiatrist said it's not medicine that heals it or manages it. It's psychotherapy, like combinations of psychotherapy. There's DBT and CBT. CBT is cognitive therapy, behavior. DBT is dialectal. I hope I'm saying it right, guys. Dialectal therapy, behavior. In my case, I attend psychotherapy every week. It's a group psychotherapy where it's like most of us with the same mental illnesses have a free space to discuss our feelings, thoughts, and emotions without judgment, and just being understood that how we feel is valid and how to deal with it. So that's how I treat my borderline personality disorder. I attend psychotherapy every single week, and it just makes me feel like I'm not crazy. No, I'm not normal, but I'm not like crazy, and I'm not alone, because obviously a lot of people don't talk about their mental illnesses. But the psychotherapy group, I get to be myself, to share my real thoughts without judgment. I'll have more information in the comment section, and if you do relate or you want to like share on some of your experiences with one of these personality disorders, please do in the comment section. Feel free. Let's, if you need assistance, let's see which hospitals you could reach out to. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today. Cluster B of personality disorders. And the treatments that I've discussed. Next week we'll be doing cluster C of personality disorders. Please engage with me on my comment section. Remember, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I am a beautiful Black woman who's living with mental illness, and as I've disclosed today, my first mental illness is borderline personality disorder. No shame in it anymore. This episode was difficult, and I've been postponing it and like pushing it back for long, because it's like letting people into my very sacred space of thoughts. But I hope in sharing that I've shed light and I've made someone not feel alone, and not feel like they're crazy. This behavior does happen for some of us. For those of you who don't have it or understand it, I ask for you to have grace and to be kind. For you do not walk in our shoes. But someone close to you could be, or it could be you too, but you're just unaware of it. With that being said, love and light. Yeah, see you on the next journal entry of my mental health journey. Bye.